Hi, YouTube people. It's been a long time coming for this video in particular. I told you guys a while ago that I was going to cover the last Ronin animation that everyone and their mother has seen at this point, but I wanted to come at it from a different angle as opposed to just reviewing the short, which we all know was incredible and amazing and breathtaking. I kind of wanted to sit down with the creative head behind it and made the whole thing come together with his amazing crew and everyone who had a hand in crafting this masterpiece, in my opinion. Before I start rambling about how amazing it is, I don't know, the head honcho, what do you title yourself? I'm sure you have like a lot of titles when it comes to bringing this together, but I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi guys, how are you? You can call me Magnus or Magnus, I think you pronounce it in English. But yeah, my name is Magnus Hedlund, Magnus. I come from Sweden. I'm really nervous, but I think this will go good.
I don't have any worries about it. We've talked here and there before trying to get this off of the ground, and the interactions have been very nice and very welcoming, so it's been a blast so far. So here's how this is going to go for the audience that doesn't know what we have planned here today. You guys asked a bunch of questions in regards to the making of this project a while ago, and we're finally going to sit here and get some answers when it comes to that, as well as just having a full-on discussion back and forth and see what comes from that. So before we get into the questions, I'm going to have you go ahead and explain what inspired you to, make this a thing. I'm sure the book itself, but what in particular made you develop an itch you needed to scratch, so to speak?
Okay, so first of all, I have always been a turtle fan, a TMNT fan. I grew up with the turtle. I don't know how old I was when I first watched the first cartoon series, but I have a picture of me when I am 4 years old, I think, and I running around in a turtle costume. So I grew up with the turtles. And when I read the Last Ronin issue number 1, and in particular the sewer scene, I got really emotional because, like I said, I grew up with the turtles. And when the lines were, I miss my brothers so much and I miss my father, that really, it hit me. And yeah, I got really emotional and a tear in my eye.
Yeah.
So I think that is probably the most impactful scene in the entire The Last Ronin series, and that's why I picked that scene.
No, I think that was the perfect scene to go with as well, because personally, when seeing The Last Ronin on a surface level, at least in my opinion, in the early goings, it just seemed like it would be another cool rendition on TMNT, which is fine. That's kind of what we've come to expect when it comes to new books or movies or cartoon series. You expect it to be a new fun twist on the lore that we've gotten before. It's always a question though of how emotional will it be, because sometimes they don't go for the emotional angle, and when they do, it comes as a big shock, because honestly they don't have to do that. Like 1987, that cartoon did just fine, and it wasn't like some deep dive analysis of how emotional the characters can be, and it was still good.
No, exactly.
So
and also that's why I wanted to show this part of the story of the TMNT franchise, because I think many people are thinking about the TMNT as really funny and silly, but the first comics, they were really serious and had a really dark tone.
Right.
So yeah, that's also the case with The Last Ronin. So that's also why I wanted to make something in particular with The Last Ronin.
I think another thing that I just want to give you kudos for, in the book, they do a good job at illustrating the emotion that any character feels at any given time, which is a staple when it comes to comic books. It's kind of an important thing to do that, to sell the emotion in a singular panel, because you only have that one image to go off of for any given moment, and it has to tell everything that they're feeling, even if it's a wide range of emotions. I'm sure you have multiple panels to plan that out, but it's a lot more limiting as opposed to animation. But when you're going into animation, turning those panels into a full-on scene, you kind of have to add your own flavor to it. Was there anything that was absent from the book, from a sense of animation, that you think you injected there to maybe heighten the scene or spin it in a way that you interpreted it, as opposed to how it might have been for face value in the book?
First of all, I wanted to stay true to the comics as much as I could, but there were some things I had to change because maybe I don't know if it was better or worse, but for example, the blood in the comic, he's like this dripping blood from his mouth and stuff like that. And back then I didn't know how to create that, so that's why there's not so much blood pouring down his chest and stuff like that. And also at the end, when he is stabbing himself just a bit, he doesn't die like everyone believes in my animation, but he doesn't die. I didn't have the lines from the comic when he's lying on the ground, And that's just because it felt better not to have the dialogue there. It was much more impactful, just him laying there on the ground.
Right.
So that's why I cut that out. And that was actually the sound guys. Andre, he did the voice for The Last Ronin, and also Max, they did all the sounds for it. So they sent me the last part with the sound, or with the voice, with the dialogue, and one without. And they prefer the one without the dialogue,
Right.
and I prefer the one without as well. So that's why we took that out, and I think it was a good choice.
Yeah, it was definitely all the better for it.
Yeah, and otherwise I don't think I changed so much.
Yeah.
I think it's really true to the comic.
Yeah, which is just one of the many reasons I think it went over so well. It was a true adaptation, especially when it comes to the Turtles. It's a franchise that I, in particular, have been pretty open to seeing change over time. However, it hits different when somebody really, really respects what came before and kind of even makes it just a one-to-one representation of what it was to begin with, just in a different medium. So I think you did an amazing job there. So great job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the cool thing about the Turtles franchise and the community is that there are so many different adaptations.
Right.
So there is something for everyone. Like, The Last Ronin and the first comics, they are a bit dark. So if you want to read or see something dark, read the comics or watch the amazing Last Ronin animation.
Yeah.
But if you want something silly, watch the first cartoon series or something like that. So I think that's a really good thing with the TMNT franchise. You can choose whatever mood you are in, if you want to, which you want to see.
Absolutely. I think we're going to go ahead and take at least one question that we have here from one of the viewers.
Yeah.
This account goes by the name of Two Guys Render, who asks, when working completely in CGI, how do you decide on camera angles? Do you just try stuff, or do you have references you look at and or do it yourself in real life first? Cheers.
Okay, Two Guys Render. I think that's Andre. He's actually the voice for the Last Ronin.
It is.
Two Guys Render. If it's from Andre,
it is. Yeah.
That's the guy who made the voice. But anyways, one of my latest short films, Star Wars: The Pokemon Awakens. It's live action. Then I first did an animation of the first scene. So I animated everything. It looks really bad, but I got an understanding how I wanted everything to be. So then I could try out different camera movements and stuff like that. And then I did a storyboard with that, and then I shot it like live action. With a fully CG scene, the thing I did was I created the sewer scene, and then I took the turtle character, the 3D model, and put him in the scene. Then I tried out different things, but I still had kind of a storyboard in my head, like how I wanted everything to be. But then I put the 3D model in the scene, and then I took some renders, like actual renders from the scene, and I did a storyboard of that. So I kind of had an idea in my head how I wanted it to look, and then I did still renders and did a storyboard of that. But it's really much easier with CGI, because when you're doing camera angles and framing and stuff like that, you're not on set, so you can be up in the ceiling or up in the air.
Right.
But if you're shooting live action, it's really hard to fly. So if you don't have a drone, of course. So you can try out different and harder camera angles and camera movements when you're doing everything CGI. I don't know if that was an answer, but
No, it absolutely was. I think you deserve to give yourself a pat on the shell. You get it? Because we're talking about TMNT. Please laugh. Please. Thank you. I needed that. Anyway, from You Productions, this person asks, does this guy have a Patreon or something? I need to see more.
I had a Patreon, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago or so. And I uploaded, I don't know, more than 100 behind-the-scenes images, and I had over 1 hour of video content. But I had no patrons, so no one supported me. And the thing is, it takes a lot of time to make, renders and behind-the-scenes content and stuff like that.
Right.
And when I have had a Patreon for maybe 6 months or so, and no patrons, I was like, what the heck? I can't do this. It takes too much time. So I thought that when I get the Patreon, I will continue to make stuff for it.
Right.
But then after like a year without doing anything, then I tried to log into the Patreon site, but I couldn't get in or something like that. I think I was too inactive for too long or something. But there is actually one thing you can do if you want to support me, and that is to become a channel member on YouTube or send super chats.
Yeah.
Because the channel membership is the same as Patreon. You will have behind the scenes images and renders and content like that.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. We got the channel link in the description box in the pinned comment. Go over there and support. Please. I'm begging. He's not even begging. I'm begging. I want to see more too. I'm gonna do my part as well. Okay, we have an interesting question here. Fari Not Sorry. Do you think he'll make a longer Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film in the future? Because I hope so.
First of all, I haven't decided yet if I'm going to make a part 2 or a sequel or something like that. I am also working on a different project right now, but I really want to make a sequel or a part 2 to the last Ronin animation. But the thing is, don't think I will ever do a feature film, because it's so much work, and only I don't have the resources to do it. I mean, the render time or something like this, it's crazy. Just like to render 1 frames in a close-up of the turtle, it takes around 20 minutes for me to render with my computer I have now, and it's 24 frames for 1 second, and 1 frame take 20 minutes.
Wow.
So to render 1 second takes around 8 hours. So to render a full-length movie for me, it's going to take years. But if I'm going to make a sequel, a part 2 or something, I'm probably going to make it a short one, like a 5-10 minutes video, like part 1.
And we're gonna eat it up. I can guarantee you that. What was the most tedious part to animate of the entire short film?
First of all, I haven't done the model for the turtle for the last Ronin. A guy named Chris Howard did that, so I couldn't make that. So that's a really problem I had. And that's always, my channel is a one-man show, but when I am facing problems or obstacles or whatever you call it, I contact people so they can help me out. Like Chris with the turtle, but also the animation. And when I say animation, I am meaning how the turtle is moving. I'm not so good to animate characters, so I hired a guy named Robin. So he animated the turtle. So for me, the hardest thing is to model and to animate. So yeah, that's the worst thing for me. So that's why I'm hiring people to make it.
That's the route you gotta go.
And also, like I said, the rendering time is not fun.
I couldn't imagine. I would be ripping my hair out, but that's patience.
Yeah, and especially because I'm sleeping, I don't know, half a meter from my computer, so I can't have it rendering during the night. It's not possible because it sounds too much. So I only rendering when I am at job. I work as a truck driver and a CNC operator, so I only working with these animations during evenings and weekends. So I render when I am at work.
Nice. No, it's funny when you mentioned the whole sleeping next to the monitor thing. I do that a lot. I more so work with 2D. I've dabbled in 3D here and there, but it's mostly 2D that I work on. And for me, it's more from a sense of like, I'll finish a scene and I'm like, you know what? I feel pretty good about that. And I'll actually loop it and just watch it till I fall asleep to ensure that I feel good about it. And then 9 times out of 10 when I wake up, I'm like, this is horrible. And I trash it. I don't know why I do that. Keep it, man. What do you do?
Yeah, exactly. If you make something and you think it looks good, like an animation or a render or something, then you look at it and you look at it and you look at it and you look at it like that. So sometimes it's really good just to put it away sometime and then go back and look at it. But it's hard when you have done something, you just keep looking at it.
Yes. Why do you guys think it's taken so long for the first episode of my show to come? It's hard, man.
Yeah, I understand you.
Yeah. I actually have a question before we continue on with these, because these are a bit older. I have a new question that's relevant to what's going on with the internet right now. I don't know if you saw the new YouTube guidelines, and I'm not sure how detrimental that they will be moving forward, but from the sounds of it, I've seen other animators that have done like animated fight scenes that include, I don't even know if saying it is against the guidelines, but it includes like, I'm sure you can pick up what I mean here. Ketchup.
Okay.
and extreme acts of sword swinging,
Okay.
And some people have had to re-upload their stuff censored because the originals are getting demonetized.
What the heck?
I know. So with that, I'm very much considering going back and reanimating some scenes in my series. So I didn't know if you had heard about that.
I never heard of it.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it.
I'm really hoping it's not going to throw a wrench in anyone's plans, but I'm going to keep an eye on that. But yeah, I was just curious to see if you'd heard about that.
No, I never heard of it.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. We should be fine. I'm hoping so.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah. This next question here. Have you worked in other animation styles like 2D? Have you worked at a studio before? And what is your favorite TMNT adaptation?
I have actually worked with 2D one time. I did a short film called Grisen in Swedish. It's called The Pig. It's on my channel. It's a little short fun story. I think it's maybe 10 years ago I made it or something like that. But that's the only 2D animation I have done. But when you're creating visual effects like lightsabers and I don't know, glowing things and stuff like that, then I create 2D effects. But I wouldn't say that is an animation. But yeah, I had never worked in a studio, like in a big studio. I have learned everything I know on YouTube and books and stuff like that. And I never been to any proper film school or visual effects school or anything like that. And like I told you earlier, I work as a truck driver and a CNC operator, so I'm only doing this at night, afternoons and weekends. I would say I really love the first comics because they feel so realistic, and I really love the atmosphere. I mean, when you're cutting one, there should be blood, right?
Yeah.
and like in one comic, Donatello, in a fight, I think he jumps or I don't know something, and he breaks his leg. And I think that is really like realistic and good also, and not just the silly turtles. So I would probably say the first Mirage comics books is my favorite adaptations, like the original stuff.
Great choice. I've actually been actively revisiting those books this week. Cool. I'm at the very end of the first encounter with Fugitoid and the Triceratons. Very early part of the books. But I just started revisiting them this week because I haven't read them in like 3 years or so. And I was feeling really nostalgic. So good pick. Good pick.
Yeah, I have the Ultimate Collection, I think they're called.
Yeah.
It's like 5 books or something like that, and I read them last year.
Oh, wow.
And I also have one in Swedish.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When did the idea to do the short emerge, and how did you come together to make it? What tools did you use? It's so incredible. I can only assume it's just magic.
Yeah, he's right. I didn't use any software or my computer.
You're a sorcerer?
Everything is... Yeah, exactly.
Why didn't you tell me? I thought we were best friends now. Like, come on, man.
Sorry. No.
This changes everything.
Yeah. And now you have part 2 in 1 second because I can just do magic and upload it immediately. No, I'm just kidding. So I actually worked with another concept trailer I did, a Minecraft concept trailer in real life or something like that, I call it. And then I read the first issue of The Last Ronin, and I was like, I have to do something with this because it's so good. So I was just like, I need to finish the Minecraft realistic concept trailer so I can start working on something with The Last Ronin. And then I picked, the sewer scene. I have already told you why I picked that one.
Right.
So yeah, that's when so immediately after I read the first issue, I know I had to do something with it. And the tools I am using for 3D modeling, we are using ZBrush and Autodesk Maya. For the turtle, we are using ZBrush. And for the texturing, we are using Substance Painter. And for some of the 3D modeling and animation and rigging and rendering, we are using Autodesk Maya. And I am rendering everything with Redshift. So yeah. That's nice. It.
I'm going to pull one more question here, and then I have something that I want to tell you about. Because I haven't told you this in the previous calls that we've had, but it's a really cool piece of information that you need to know about.
Okay.
Yeah. So this last question here that I have in the comment section that I'm going to pull, it actually ties back to us talking about the Mirage comics. Someone asked if you had the opportunity, would you make an animation of the first TMNT comic?
Yeah, of course, but it's still it's hard to describe. But if someone told me, can you make an animation of the first comics, I might can do it.
Yeah.
But I have my job as a truck driver and all that, and I have to kind of prioritize that a bit. Because if I quit my other job and then I start to make animations, then I make, the first comic books into an animation or something like that. After 1-2 years, I don't have any job.
Right.
So I think it's pretty good balance I have now to have my other job, and then I working on stuff like this on my free time. Otherwise, I would love to make something related to TMT, but my original stories or something like that. Maybe 3 short films or 4 short films or something like that, and then focus every short film on one of the turtles. So like the first one maybe be about Raph, and he's the hot-headed one. Maybe we can explore his temper and how he deal with that, and then we have one with Leonardo, and maybe we can explore and go deep in his character, how it is to be a leader, and maybe someone gets really injured in a fight, so how does Leonardo deal with that, because he feels really responsible for that, and stuff like that. I don't know. So I would probably make something my own rather than make the first comic books into animation. But still, I still want to make a sequel for the Last Ronin animation.
Yeah. No, I agree with the whole notion of taking the brand but putting your own spin on it. That's personally what I wanted to do when working on my series. Of course, there's like some coolness in the thought of going back to the beginning of the Mirage books and adapting them shot for shot. But I love more than just Mirage, personally. So it's like, if I can find some fusion of everything that I love about this brand, I'm going to do that. So I totally give it to you.
Yeah, exactly.
There. Thank you so much for answering everyone's questions there. That was very nice.
Yeah, thank you for asking me.
Yeah, of course.
It's all fun with questions.
Yeah, no, it's always cool to get an insight on other people, especially in the Turtles side of the internet that's doing cool stuff like this. This is probably my favorite fandom. It has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Mine too.
Yeah, like, I think this is the year of the turtle. I think everything's about to...
Yeah, of course.
All eyes on TMNT this year.
Yeah.
And
the Turtles is going to become bigger than ever, I think. With all the film that is coming out, and I don't know everything that's happening, but there's so much stuff going on with the Turtles right now.
Not to brag on us fans, but I think we've done a lot of good in helping to push things into that direction.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you, I got to tell you something here.
Okay. What?
Okay. Last year, me and someone named Ash, they do a lot of TMNT content. We got together and we went to a convention in New Hampshire. Mostly, for me, I wanted to meet Ciro Nieli, who is the creator of the 2012 Ninja Turtles series on Nickelodeon. So I knew I wanted to see him. We get ready for the Last Ronin panel. Kevin Eastman is on there, Ben Bishop, everyone who worked on the book, Tom Waltz, everyone for the most part that worked on the book. What I wanted to tell you about was at the end of the panel, everyone was getting up and getting ready to walk out. There was like a group of like 20 or 30 people at the door talking about your animation.
Wow, that's so cool.
Like we were heading out of the door and I stopped for a second and someone like just out loud was like, hey, have you seen that Last Ronin animation that's going around on the internet? And like people started gathering and just talking about your short film.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I just stood on the other side of the door, I was like, wow, this is insane.
Yeah,
so,
that's insane.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you about that because I was like, man, that's got to be. And it's crazy because like you didn't even know about it. Like there are people, like literally, I had to take a plane to go to this convention. Like there were people all over the place talking about this thing.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, like
I mean, I don't know what to say.
Well, I will say congratulations and thank you for making something this incredible that's impacted so many Turtles fans. Seems like just like the people working on the official stuff, you're getting stuff done. And thanks again.
Thank you for watching it.
Absolutely. It was nice talking to you. Hopefully we can do this again. I'm sure we will.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. I'm sure it will.
Yeah. If you have anything else to say to the audience, where they can find you, any upcoming personal projects unrelated to TMNT or anything that you want to share with the people, anything like that, I'll let you have it and we'll round this out.
Okay, so you can find my YouTube channel, link in the description. I guess.
Yes, it'll be, it'll be there.
Otherwise, I don't don't know. Just stay tuned. Great things to come. That's the only thing I will say.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to us talk about turtles for a long time, because, that's what I'm all about. Anyway, I've been Geekly. You've been awesome, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cowabunga, dudes.